Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video and welcome to my monthly reading wrap up for March. So surprisingly, I did read quite a few books in the month of March. I hadn't had like a good reading month in a long time, so I'm very excited to be sharing with you guys all the books that I read. I have my little list here. I did a whole list of the books that I read. I read 7 books and I started one but haven't finished. So I'm going to talk about each one and give you guys my rating and all. I'm very excited, you guys, because oh my gosh, next week I'm going to go see Taylor Swift. I'm so excited. So excited. I'm gonna vlog the entire trip and it's gonna be amazing and you guys are gonna love it. So just wanted to share that with you guys. So yeah, make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And let's talk about today's sponsor, which is Book of the Month. So you guys know that I love Book of the Month. I always talk about it over on my TikTok, my podcast, on here, like I'm obsessed. And I'm so excited to share with you guys the picks for the month of April. But if you don't know what Book of the Month is, Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing book subscription service for all readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers find books that they love. Their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles. I personally love their skip policy, like you can skip any month and you won't be charged. And I've personally done this and it's amazing. I'm so grateful that I got to pick 2 books from their selection this month. So the first one that I picked out is Advocate and the Hollywood Wives. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's this book. Don't you guys just love Book of the Month covers? So beautiful. And also I got Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. Also hope that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's this book and I absolutely love this cover. But let me know in the comments what you guys picked for this month, for April. And if you haven't gotten your book, then make sure to click the link in the description to get your book for the month of April. Okay, let's start with the monthly reading wrap up. Okay, I got my little piece of paper here. And spoiler alert, I actually did not rate any of these books 5 stars. So I did not have a 5-star read this month. But I did have a pretty good reading month, I feel like, overall. So the first book that I actually started, I think I started this book in February, did not finish it, and I finished it in March, is Harry Potter, book number 1. You guys know this. I don't remember if I talked about this on my podcast or where exactly, but I remember I told you guys that I started Harry Potter. But I finished book 1 and it was honestly very entertaining. I feel like the movie and the book are kind of similar. It has a lot of similarities. They didn't change it like a lot, so that was nice because I also watched movie number 1 after finishing the book and now I can like compare it. And honestly, I love how the book is so much more detailed than the movie, because obviously the movie cannot be that detailed because it's gonna be like 4 hours long. But overall I appreciated all the details and all the like tiny little situations that the book has that the movie doesn't. So it was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me, and I'm definitely going to read book number 2 and 3 and try my best to finish the book series. Okay, next up, I read The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson, and I've talked about this book a lot, like all throughout the month. I have raved about this book because I don't know, I just really liked it. The Lost Ticket is about this girl who breaks up with her boyfriend of 8 years. She moves in with her sister because she needs a place to stay. And one day she takes the bus and meets this very cute old man who tells her the story about when he was like very young, he took the same bus and he met this like gorgeous, beautiful woman who literally like changed his life. And that woman gave him his number and he lost the ticket, like the bus ticket with the number on it. So he's been riding the same bus trying to find this like woman for the past, I don't know, like 50 years, but not like in a creepy way, like he's lived his life. He's just always wondered if he could find her again, just to thank her, to literally just thank her for changing his life. And basically the main character is going to try to find this girl for this man, like find the girl from the 88 bus. So that's kind of like the whole story, but we have the story of the main character, which is Libby, so that's kind of like the backstory, and then we have the story of the very cute old man and like his story, and also the story of the woman in the bus. Like we have like a lot of stories going on, but it's very good because you never get bored, and I don't know, it just kind of like mixes well together. So I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was overall very cute, and I would definitely read every single book by Freya Simpson after reading that book. So after reading The Lost Ticket, I was like I got into this mood, like this reading mood, that I wanted to read books kind of like similar to this one, not exactly, but kind of like that vibe. And I don't know how, in like looking for books on Amazon, I don't know how I found this author. And I've also talked about this author many times already. So I came across this author, Claire North, and she has like a bunch of books. They're very like mysterious, with like very crazy stories and adventures. So I've read the first 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North, and the story is basically this man who is born. This guy is born, and he lives his life, and then he dies at like an old age, and he's literally born again into his same life. So he has to pass like childhood and puberty and all that stuff again, and it's obviously very confusing the first time, which is his second life. But then he realizes that he literally cannot die. So basically, you get to live his 15 lives. But obviously, those 15 lives go very differently each life. But there's kind of like a whole point of the book. You not only get the story of his 15 lives and what he did in those lives, but there's kind of like a plot to those lives and a point to him like living again and again and being born again and again, because he basically needs to save the world, and that's a whole other story. But it's really interesting. I was not bored at all. It took me a couple of days because I feel like it is a bit more complex to read, but overall it was just so entertaining. Like I could not put it down. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved this book and absolutely loved this author. So obviously, because I love this author so much, I decided to read another book by this author. So the book that I chose is The Sudden Appearance of Hope. I'm not sure if I talked about this book. I think I have, but not like very specifically. Hope Arden. Hope is the main character, right? Hope lives his life, and when she turns 16, she starts noticing that people are like forgetting her. Like simple things like around her house, like her mom forgetting to set the table for 4 people instead of 3 people. Little things like that. People like started forgetting her, like literally just forgetting her. And one day her parents did not even recognize her, and she could not even like get into her house because her family did not know who she was. And that also happened with like her friends in school. And like at 16, 17, she literally was forgotten by the entire world. So she became a professional thief, like high paying thief. Because obviously, like you can have an interaction with her, you can talk to her, but the moment she walks away, or the moment you look the other way, you forget you forget her existence, and you forget like that interaction that you had with her. So also that's kind of like the main story of the main character, but she gets into this whole mess of a thing with like a very high paying job, stealing something, and it's a whole story, but it's so interesting. Like I could not put this book down. I read this book in a day. In a day. Like, I was so, I don't know, it was just so interesting and so like captivating. Like, I normally don't read books like these. But I gave these Sudden Appearance of Hope 4 out of 5 stars. So those were all the books that I read by Claire North. I want to obviously keep reading books by this author, but after that I started the TBR series again. So the first book that I read for the TBR series, like that I randomly picked out from my bookshelves, was The Summer of Broken Rules. Okay, so basically this story is about Meredith. So Meredith is this girl who had a sister named Claire. So she lost her sister to a car accident, and now I think 1 or 2 years later, I don't remember if it's 1 year or 2 years later, Meredith and her family decide to go back to kind of like their summer house and their summer plans that they always used to do. So where they go, it's called Martha's Vineyard, and like a lot of family members go as well, and like friends, and it's just like the summer plan. And they're actually going for a family member's wedding, and like the first day that they get there, the like big surprise like the bride had for all like her friends and family is a game that they usually play, and it's like a family game called Game of Assassins. So everyone randomly gets a name from a family member, and they have to like kill them, but it's just basically like eliminate them from the game. And they basically do this with like water guns and all that stuff, but that's basically the game. So basically the entire book is her playing the game, trying to win the game, and meeting along the way the groomsman, who is basically this boy, the same age as Meredith, and they kind of like work together to win this game. And it gets really cute because obviously they start like as friends, but then like they start liking each other, and it's just, yeah, that's kind of like the vibe. I wouldn't say it was my favorite book ever, but I did like the cute romance between the two. Felt like it should have been a little shorter. Like, it was kind of repetitive at one point. The game got a little bit repetitive, so that's why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I did love like the whole romance. Then after reading The Summer of Broken Rules, I read Wayward by Amelia Hart. So I also talked about this book over on my TikTok, and this one was a very different book than the other ones that I've read. This is the book right here, and this book is basically about this bloodline of witches. It's kind of those witches that are really connected to like nature and the earth, but basically the book jumps between 3 stories and 3 main female characters. But the main character of the story is from 2019, and they put like the dates and all, and it's Kate. So it's the story of Kate and how she flees London from her very abusive boyfriend, and she like runs away to the Wayward Cottage in like the middle of nowhere. And then it jumps to 1942 of the story of Violet, another wayward woman. And then it jumps to 1619, which is Altha. So what I really loved about this book is that each story kind of like demonstrates how powerful women are, and the book has like a very strong woman representation, which I absolutely loved. And you can see like from each story the women like getting their power and knowing what their power is as a woman to like move forward, and not letting the patriarchy and not letting men rule them and rule how they live. So honestly, it was very refreshing to like read this story and read the story of these 3 women and see like how strong they actually are, but they are all in so like painful situations, but at the end they like get out of those situations, and they're just like so strong, you know, women. So love this book. Okay, and the last book that I read for the TBR series was Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. This book right here, and this one is kind of like short. I actually did like a whole reading vlog if you guys want like the whole reading vlog for this book. But basically, best friends to lovers, a lot of denial, slow burn, unexpected events happening, like those kind of tropes. And personally, I did like it. The only thing was that it was kind of like a slow burn, but I love the main character. She was like, she's so unapologetic, like she does what she wants, she acts like she wants. And Josh is like the whole opposite. He's like very tuned down. He's like very tuned down. He just got out of a relationship where the girl cheated on him, and Hazel basically the entire book just tries to help Josh and make him feel better. At one point they become roommates because something happens with Hazel's apartment, and they become roommates, and they start like going on double dates with like random people. They set each other up with like random people, and they do double dates together, and they are absolutely awful. Not like on purpose. The whole point of the dates are not like to be awful, but they end up being like the most awful dates. But obviously at the end, they realized that they wanted to be on dates with each other, not with other people. So it was just a lot of denial. So if you don't like those tropes, I would not recommend this book, because that is literally the entire book. But overall, it was a cute book. I liked it. I loved the like romance. I loved how they were with each other. Like the main character was so funny, and it was just so cute. So I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. And those are all the books that I read in the month of March. And also, if you want to pick your book of the month book for the month of April, then make sure to click the link in my description and get your book. And let me know what you guys got. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, because the Taylor Swift vlog is coming soon. Oh my god. I physically cannot wait anymore. I've had my ticket since November. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!